Hey everyone, it's Peter here. I don't know where to start with this. I've been thinking about making this video for a long time, but every time I sat down, the words they stuck in my throat like they were too heavy to let out. But today, I woke up and felt this pull, this need, because holding on to this secret, this one rejection that hit me harder than anything else in my life. It's been like carrying a stone in my chest for decades. And maybe, just maybe, sharing it will help someone else who's carrying their own. I'm not here to complain or play the victim. God knows I'd had my share of successes, more than I ever dreamed. But this story, it's the one I've never told. Not to my closest friends, not even to my family in full. It was too raw, too humiliating. It happened early on when I was just starting out, and it nearly broke me. Completely. Made me question if I was even meant to be here, breathing, let alone acting. But looking back now, through all the tears and the years, I see it differently. That rejection, it didn't just hurt me, it forged me. It became the fire that kept me going, the reason I rose up when everything else said I should stay down. Let me take you back. It was the fall of 1989, I think. No, wait, 1990. I was fresh out of Bennington College, full of that wide-eyed optimism that only a 21-year-old can have. I'd studied drama there, poured my soul into it. And you know, Bennington was this liberal arts haven, all experimental theater and pushing boundaries. I thought I felt right. I'm 4'5". For those who don't know, it was always there, always a factor. But in school, it felt like part of my uniqueness, like it made me stand out in a good way. I did plays, got roles that challenged me, and I started to believe. I moved to New York City, that concrete jungle where dreams go to either bloom or die. I was crashing on friends' couches, waiting tables at this dingy diner in the East Village, scraping by on tits and hope. I'd pound the pavement, headshot in hand, resume listing my college credits like they were golden tickets. Most rejections were standard. Thanks, but no thanks. Form letters, polite smiles. They stung, but they didn't scar. This one, though, this one was different. It was personal, intimate, almost. There was this off-Broadway theater company, small but respected. They were casting for a production of Waiting for Godot, Beckett's masterpiece. Absurd, existential, perfect for someone like me who felt a bit like an outsider in the world. I'd read the play 100 times, connected with Vladimir and Estragon's endless waiting, their banter masking deeper despair. I thought, this is it. This could be my break. The director, let's call him Alex, though that's not his real name. I don't want to drag anyone through the mud. This is about me, not him, not him. Alex was a legend in Iggy circles. Tall guy, intense eyes, always quoting philosophers like Camus or Sartre. I'd seen his work, admired it. Hell, I idolized him. So when I got the call back for Estragon, the role that demands vulnerability, physical comedy, a touch of tragedy, I was all over the moon. Memorized lines, worked on the physicality, even practiced the boot scene in my tiny shared apartment until my roommates begged me to stop. The audition went well, or so I thought. I nailed the monologue, felt that spark in the room. Alex nodded, smiled even. Said, interesting take, Peter. Let's chat after. My heart was pounding. This could be it. My foot in the door. After everyone else left, he pulled me aside into his office. It was cramped, stacked with scripts and coffee cups. He sat behind his desk, and I stood there. Stood because the chair was too high for me without feeling awkward. He looked at me. Peter, he said, you're talented, raw, but talented. You bring something unique to the stage. I beamed inside, but then his face shifted. He leaned forward, elbows on the desk, and his voice dropped. But let's be real here. Theater, hell, acting in general, it's a visual medium. People come to see stories they can relate to, characters they can imagine themselves as. And you're different. Your stature, it's a distraction. Audiences will see the dwarf first, the actor second, if at all. Dwarf! He said it like it was a clinical term, but it landed like a slap. I'd heard variations before, but never so bluntly, never from someone I respected. I felt my face heat up, my throat tighten. But it wasn't done. I'd cast people with challenges before, he continued. But for this, Godot's about the human condition, universality. You focus, make it about you, not the play. I'm sorry, but I can't risk it. Not on this production. I stood there frozen, internal dialogue screaming, say something, defend yourself. But all I managed was a nod. I understand, I whispered, though I didn't. Not really. He shook my hand. Had you lean down. and wished me luck. Keep at it, kid. Maybe smaller roles, character parts. I walked out into the rainy New York street, the city lights blurring through what I told myself was just the drizzle. But it was tears, hot, angry tears mixing with the cold rain. I felt invisible, yet hyper-visible at the same time. Worthless, like my dreams were a joke, and I was the punchline. That night, back in my apartment, I broke completely. I remember curling up on the lumpy futon, staring at the ceiling cracks that looked like veins. Why me? I thought. Why this body? Why couldn't I be normal sized like everyone else? The rejection wasn't just about the role. It pierced something deeper. It confirmed every fear I'd buried since childhood. The stares in school, the whispers, the pitying look. I'd always told myself acting would be my equalizer, my way to be seen for who I am inside. But Alex's words echoed, distraction, pull focus. I was a sideshow, not a star. I cried that night like I hadn't since I was a kid. Sobs that shook my whole body, muffled into a pillow so my roommates wouldn't hear. I felt so alone, so utterly defeated. For days I didn't leave the apartment, called in sick to work, ignored audition notices. What's the point? My mind whispered. They'll all see the same thing. Give up now, before it hurts more. I even thought about going back to New Jersey, getting a real job, maybe teaching or something behind the scenes. Anything where my height wouldn't matter. It was the lowest point. I spiraled into this dark place, questioning my worth as a person, not just an actor. Internal voices battling, one saying, you're more than your body, the other sneering, but the world isn't. I remember picking up a book, Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, I'd read in college. That line, what does not kill me makes me stronger. But right then it felt like mockery. This is killing me, I thought. Slowly, from the inside, weeks turned into months. I forced myself back out there, but half-heartedly. Auditions became chores. Rejections, routine. I took whatever came. Bit parts in indie films, off-Broadway understudy gigs. But that secret rejection lingered, a shadow in my soul. I never spoke of it. Not to agents, not to fellow actors over beers. It was mine to bear. A private wound I nursed in silence. Every time I faced a mirror or caught someone staring on the subway, it flared up. Distraction! It'd whisper. But here's where the story shifts slowly, like dawn creeping in. Time has a way of reframing pain, doesn't it? I kept going, not because I was brave, but because what else was there? Quitting meant Alex won, meant the world won. So I channeled it. That hurt became fuel. I'd wake up early, rehearse lines until my voice cracked, study films obsessively, discipline born from desperation. There was this one moment, an awakening, I guess you'd call it. It was around 1996, I think. I just wrapped a small role in some forgettable play, feeling invisible again. Walking home through Central Park, leaves crunching underfoot, I stopped by the Bethesda fountain. Sat there, watching people, tall, short, all shapes, laughing, living, and it hit me. They don't know my story. No one does. But I do. And that rejection, it's not a curse, it's a teacher. I started reflecting deeper, drawing from literature, philosophy, things that always grounded me. Shakespeare, for one. In Richard III, the hunchback king says, and therefore, since I cannot prove a lover, I am determined to prove a bill. Since I cannot prove normal, I thought, I'll prove extraordinary. It was vulnerable, admitting that to myself. Tears came again, right there on that bench, but they were different, cleansing, not crushing. From then on, that hidden pain became my purpose. I sought roles that embraced my uniqueness, not hid it. Like in The Station Agent in 2003, Finn Burr McBride, this reclusive train enthusiast, isolated but finding connection. Auditioning for that, I poured in all the loneliness from that rejection. And it worked. The film was a breakthrough. Critics raved. Festivals loved it. Suddenly, doors cracked open. But the real triumph, Game of Thrones, Tyrion Lannister, the imp, the outcast, the wit with a wounded heart. When I read the script, it was like staring into a mirror. Tyrion's lines about being a dwarf in a world of giants, that was my life. Amplified. I brought that secret pain to every scene, the vulnerability, the fire, and it resonated. And it is global fame. But more than that, it healed me, proved Alex wrong, proved myself right. Looking back through these tears, yeah, they're falling now, sorry. I see how that rejection was the pivot. It nearly broke me, made me feel worthless, invisible. I wanted to abandon everything. But holding it inside, letting it simmer, it transformed, became the discipline to grind through no's, the fire to fight for yeses, the purpose to inspire others, and that's the message I want to leave with. The rejections we hide, the ones that cut deepest because they're too painful to share, they're often the ones that shape us most. They whisper our fears, but if we listen closer, they reveal our strengths. Don't let them define you as broken. Let them forge you into who you are meant to become. Stronger, wiser, unbreakable. If you're carrying one right now, know this. It's not the end. It's the spark. Wait, that was emotional. Thanks for listening. If this resonates, share your story in the comments. We all have secrets. Maybe it's time to let them free. Take care.